set up and ready to go? Hey, folks. Nice to see you again. Still say hi to Derek. Deanna, we good? What's that?
Channel 7's coming up.
Okay. Wouldn't want to start without Channel 7.
No.
How are you guys? Thanks for offering that. You in Jersey for the weekend?
I am.
Yeah. What are you saying? Each time I see you, I feel like there's a new...
I have now used the word surreal.
Hey, there's a biography. If you've got time to read a book, I'm about 3/4 into it.
Oh, yeah.
By George Packer. It's called Our Man. It's extraordinary. It's positive. You would love it. It's a lot of homework on it. We good? Yep. Okay. Thanks, Mayor.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the beautiful beaches of the borough of Lavallette. This Friday is the traditional launch of the Jersey Shore season, and we've got some great weather here for it. I hope everybody enjoys the weather and our beautiful beaches. Now, for a long time, the residents and the elected officials of this barrier island sought a beach replenishment program. We could never get any federal funding for it. We contemplated funding it out of local and county tax dollars, but it was prohibitively expensive. Superstorm Sandy then came along, and that changed everything. The Army Corps stepped in, surveyed the area and discovered what we needed, came up with a plan for not only beach replenishment, but dune construction. As a person who's survived Sandy, not only the storm itself, but the aftermath, I was here, never left the island. I can tell you that the dunes themselves work in protecting our beaches and our homes. On the north end of town, we had very robust dunes. The boardwalk itself suffered absolutely no damage. On the south side, where we had very, very weak dunes and a small beach, houses were knocked off their foundations, and the water actually overflowed the land and filled the bay up, and that's what caused the most damage here in the borough of Lavallette, as well as on the other side of the bay. So I'm confident that the Army Corps' solution to that problem is going to be successful. The project had very little impact physically on the borough. We're grateful for the Army, their program, Weeks Marine, for doing a great job here. And I hope everybody enjoys the protection and the dunes. Today we have Governor Phil Murphy with us, as well as Senator Menendez and Commissioner Kathleen McCabe. First, I'd like to introduce Governor Phil Murphy.
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate that. Commissioner McCabe, I think, is going to get here any moment. But in the meantime, Mayor, thank you so much for hosting us so graciously, Madam Councilwoman, to you and your colleagues. I have remarks, and I am 99% certain they will blow off the podium, so I'm going to wing this if it's okay. Incredibly honored as well to be with here's Commissioner Catherine McCabe herself. How are you?
Already hitting that Memorial Day traffic.
Already hitting the traffic. Incredibly honored as well to stand beside Senator Bob Menendez, who fights for our interests in New Jersey's every single day. I think we can say officially, Mayor, Senator, Commissioner, this is it. The summer is open. The Jersey Shore is open for business, effective immediately. And we're incredibly honored to be here. This project behind us, I think, Mayor, it's fair to say, is a game changer, not just for this community, but for all of Northern Ocean County. I think it's a total of about $129 million spread across 9 municipalities. Most of the work, as you can see behind us in this community of Lavallette, is finished. There's only, I think, Bayhead and a little bit of work at one of the other communities still to go. As the mayor pointed out, some plantings that still need to take hold, but that's a seasonal question, and we're going to get to those when the season permits. The Jersey Shore is an incredibly important part of our state in every respect, and certainly in our economic selves. It's 130 miles of shore. We will have about 48 million tourists. It is about half of our entire tourism spend in terms of what folks spend in the great state of New Jersey. I think the employment on the Jersey Shore is something around 128,000 people. This is a big deal, important part of our economy and a part of our culture and society. And I think it's fair to say, thanks to enormously good work both by the federal government through the Army Corps as well as by the Department of Environmental Protection. And by the way, these projects are split 65 feds, 35 DEP. I think between their great replenishment work on the one hand, still digging out from Superstorm Sandy, and the blessings of a relatively mild winter, I think we could go out on a limb and say that the beaches have never been in the shape they're in right now. Not just in this community, this great community of Lavallette, but up and down the Jersey Shore. So it's incredibly thrilling to be here. It's a great honor for me to be here with this august group. And I would say, before I turn it over to Senator Menendez, let's all remember the very purpose of Memorial Day. Let's keep our veterans, our active duty, armed service men and women in our hearts, in our minds, and in our prayers, in particular those who have fallen to defend this great nation. With that, again, thank you for having us. It is my great honor to introduce an extraordinary leader who fights for our interests every day in Washington and back home in New Jersey, Senator Bob Menendez.
Well, thank you, Governor. Thank you for your leadership in working with us to make the possibility of federal dollars a reality, working with the state, with the commissioner. Mayor, it's great to be in your fine community with a councilwoman. The mayor, I asked him how long he's been here. 13 years. Having been a mayor, if you're around for 13 years, you're doing something right. So congratulations on that and on a great community. And I'm pleased to be here also with the commissioner who does such fantastic work in guarding our environment for the next generation of New Jerseyans as well. Let me first pause to recognize those who committed the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of our nation so that we could enjoy the blessings of freedom. That's what Memorial Day is all about. And while we celebrate the opening of the shore season, we don't get to enjoy these freedoms, but for the sacrifice of few who do so much for the many. And so we recognize them, and also all of our service people at home and across the world who stand guard and a sentry in pursuit of our national security. We're here today not only to celebrate another wonderful Memorial Day weekend at the Jersey Shore, but to celebrate another milestone in our recovery from Superstorm Sandy. We all remember the havoc wreaked by Sandy, the homes washed away, the businesses destroyed, entire towns underwater. And the moment those clouds parted, I made a promise to the people of New Jersey. I promised to fight like hell to rebuild our coastal communities to be stronger and more resilient than ever before. And it wasn't easy. In Washington, we faced opposition to those who tried to deny us recovery funding. I have always voted for funding for other parts of the nation. There is a reason we call this country the United States of America. We're all in it together. So if there's flooding in the Mississippi, Katrina in New Orleans and Louisiana, wildfires in the West, we're all in it together. But when New Jersey needed money for the first time as a result of a natural disaster, it was such a fight. But those who know me know I never shy away from a fight, and in the end we secured $60 billion to rebuild our region. That $60 billion included funding for the Army Corps of Engineers to replenish our beaches and build a more resilient coastline. It's one of the most ambitious projects of that effort was the 14-mile sand and dune project here in northern Ocean County. The $128 million project goes from the Manasquan Inlet to the Barnegat Inlet. The coastal storm risk management will secure and reduce the risk of storm damages to Point Pleasant Beach, to Bayhead, Manalocan, Brick Township, Toms River, Lavallette, Seaside Heights, Seaside Parks, and Berkeley Township. And that's a big chunk of our shoreline here. The pristine beaches we see today is the result of federal tax dollars at work along with the state, and that's why I do what I do. If Sandy taught us anything, it's that our beaches need to be strong. Our beaches and dunes are our frontline defense when powerful storms bring pounding waves and ruthless winds to our coasts. So make no mistake, beach replenishment and renourishment is about more than sand and dunes. It's one of the most cost-effective ways to shield our homes, our businesses, our iconic boardwalks, and coastal towns from powerful storms. This is about protecting our way of life. Summer after summer, countless New Jersey families enjoy vacations, weekends, and day trips to the shore. They're happy times. They remind us why New Jersey is such a great place to live, to work, and to raise a family. And beyond what the shore means to all of us, we're a destination for people across the nation and the globe. Every year, 40 million people visit the Jersey Shore, generating revenue, supporting hundreds of thousands of jobs in tourism, fishing, and recreation, and supporting residential and commercial properties valued at an estimated $800 billion. For these reasons and more, New Jerseyans have always stood up to protect our pristine beaches and ocean waters from any and all threats. Today, beach erosion is far from the only threat we face. We need to actually continue to work to stop the efforts to lift limits on pollution, to open protected waters, to offshore drilling. We have fought time and time again to beat the drill, and the latest proposal to have offshore drilling is something that we will fight again and win on. We will never let drilling take place off of the shores of New Jersey. And to weaken, that's why, in order to make sure that we do not have that possibility and to weaken our protections, I've reintroduced the Coast Anti-Drilling Act to permanently ban offshore drilling from threatening our pristine beaches and water. That's why I sponsor, as the lead sponsor, the Beach Act to provide grants for monitoring water quality to ensure our ocean waters are safe for surfing, swimming, and fishing. Yesterday, Governor, $246,000 was awarded to New Jersey for the 2019 summer season. And that's why we also continue to demand bold action on climate change, because our warming planet and rising sea levels pose an existential threat to the Jersey Shore. America should be leading the world in the fight against climate change, not hiding behind powerful interests who want to oppose us in what is the actual science. So I'm thrilled to be here, thrilled to see the results of our work and the federal dollars at play matched by the state to make our shoreline more resilient, to able to protect our communities, to be able to protect the economy that is the Jersey Shore, and for all of us to enjoy a blessed Memorial Day weekend. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well done, man, as always. I want two quick comments before I ask the commissioner to come up and say a few words. First of all, I echo Senator Menendez's comments about drilling off the Jersey Shore. I was proud about a year ago to sign into law prohibiting any New Jersey involvement in that wrong-headed endeavor. And I might add, it was a bipartisan group that stood together that day. So this is not purview of one party or another. This is just the right thing to do for the Jersey Shore. Secondly, I'm looking forward to a very busy weekend. Lots of different activities, but I hope also some pleasant, quiet time with my wife. And that would have been disturbed had I not acknowledged her today. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge the First Lady of the great state of New Jersey, Tammy Murphy's in the house. And I'm looking forward to a wonderful weekend together, by the way. With that, an existential partner in all that you see behind us, and we're talking about Northern Ocean County with this 14-mile stretch, which I think exemplifies the replenishment work that's been done up and down the shore as much as any, but it's a $1.2 or $3 billion effort across the entirety of the 4 shore counties, and a partner every step of the way, and leading with great success our Department of Environmental Protection. Please help me welcome our Commissioner, Catherine McCabe. Great to have you.
Thank you, Governor. And thank you to Senator Menendez for all of the wonderful work that you have done in bringing us federal funding to rebuild our shore here. I would particularly like to thank the men and women of the New Jersey DEP, as well as the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for the magnificent work that you have all done to restore our beautiful beaches here. So let's give them all a hand. And I'd like to call out one in particular, Mr. Dave Rosenblatt. Raise your hands. Yes. Dave is a native of the shore, and he has been instrumental in making sure that we could deliver on the promises that were made post-Sandy to rebuild our beaches more beautifully than ever and stronger than ever, and that job has been well done. So now it's your turn, people of the Jersey Shore, and I'm one of you heading down the coast to Ocean City for the Memorial Day weekend. Let's take care of our dunes. Let's take care of our beaches as we're out there. Let's encourage others to do that. We've been given an incredible gift of these dunes, and I want to thank the volunteers who helped plant all those individual pieces of grass in them, and let's help them grow. Let's make sure that they are here for us. I am pleased to tell you that the forecast for the summer hurricane season is relatively mild. I am told by the Stevens Institute experts that it's slightly below what the averages are. So we can expect maybe 2 major hurricanes, but about 15 named storms and 9 hurricanes altogether in the Atlantic this summer. But we're hoping that none of them come to visit us. But if they do, we'll be ready. And so I want to urge you all to tune in to make sure that if we do get any hurricane warnings, that you all pay attention and that you all listen to the directions of your local and state authorities who will help to keep all of us safe in the event that that should happen. You're doing a great job of rebuilding here up and down the shore, which I am so encouraged to see that we can keep this for future generations, among whom are my 3 children and now a new granddaughter. So hopefully we continue this tradition here at the shore for many generations to come. I would like to tell you also that we do a lot of vigilant monitoring of the water quality. Every week, we at the DEP and also our partners who help us with that at the local level are out there testing the quality of the water. It's good to go, folks. All the ocean beaches that have lifeguards at them have been tested. The water is safe. The quality is good. You may see our plane going up and down the coast. We do that 6 days a week. Also checking from the air for any significant water quality problems. The only thing they saw today was a few dolphins up north of here, and I think off of not too far north. I think I heard that one was off of Maniloking. So this is great. It looks like we've got a great weekend ahead of us, so let's get out there and enjoy it.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you. We'll take a couple of questions, but not too many because we're about to be blown back into the dunes here. Before we do, two comments. Whenever you're in doubt, whether it's an ice storm in the winter or a potential tropical storm in warmer weather, ready.nj.gov continues to be the best place to go for information, per Catherine's point. And one other, the mayor and I were just having a sidebar. I know not everybody is thrilled about it, but most people are. And that is we have a smoking ban on the entirety of the shore. And I say that not yay or nay smokers. I'm not one and I'm not a fan of it. But importantly, that'll help keep our beaches a lot cleaner because it was a big source of pollution and paper, and as you can imagine. So very happy to have that effective and up and running. Any questions we got from the back? Brenda. So you'll have to ask the speaker for any more clarification. I see this differently. You probably won't be surprised by that, Brenda. First of all, if you look at the ads, I'm not sure if you've seen them, they couldn't be more upbeat if we tried. They couldn't be less divisive if we tried. We talk about investments into the middle class and tax fairness as a way to get the money to pay for the investments in the middle class, a middle class that had been left behind. And that's school K through 12, pre-K, community college, NJ Transit, all the stuff, property tax relief, where there's a big dose of it. So I don't view that as terribly divisive. Last poll I checked, the millionaire's tax was supported by 72% of the people in the state, including a majority of Republicans. I don't think that's divisive. That's an overwhelming majority. If my memory serves me, it was passed on five separate occasions in the last administration. 5 different times a millionaire's tax was supported and voted on by the legislature. And there's only one thing that's changed, and that is there's a new governor. So when you talk about making historic investments in the middle class, I'm not a class warrior. I don't begrudge anybody who partakes in the American dream. God bless them, and I salute their success. This is about equity. We're asking them to pay a little bit more to help us rebuild the extraordinary middle class. We're the quintessential middle class state. I don't think anything associated either with that ad or what I've said is divisive in the least. Brett, did you have something?
Yeah, I actually had a question for Senator Menendez.
Please.
So, you were in the legislature for a number of years before going to Congress. What do you make of the fight over one, tax incentives, and two, where do you stand?
Well, I have enough in Washington to deal with. I can be
Aren't you glad
perfectly
you came
honest
today?
with you. But let me just say, I said before, I'll say it again, I think the governor is right to make sure that whatever tax incentive program exists for the state of New Jersey produces the benefits to the people of the state of New Jersey. What is that? It is about creating employment, jobs, good paying jobs. And you have to look at how much you invest for what you get. And I think that the governor looking at that is a totally legitimate exercise of not only his authority, but actually it's an important decision to make. If we're going to collectively use all the monies that we pay to create incentives to companies and entities to come or stay in New Jersey, then we have to make sure the result is there. So I think the governor's totally right on that regard, and I applaud him for looking into it.
I would just say, Brent, with all due respect, this I don't see this. The word feud doesn't connect with me. I asked our comptroller, who was a Chris Christie appointee, who I kept over, a very fine man, to do an audit. He did an audit. He couldn't find 20% of the jobs that were purportedly created in his sample size. At that point, I have no choice. This is $11 billion. This isn't about any part of the state, any company, any individual. This is about the truth. We've set up an independent task force. I literally have met with these members once each to hire them, give them their marching orders, which is to call balls and strikes and find the truth. That is not a feud. Please. No problem. That was my bad. I had Tourette syndrome and jumped in and couldn't resist. So. No, what I said was, in very simply to repeat today, I feel extremely strongly about finding the money we need to find to reinvest in our middle class. This is the obvious way. The rating agencies want us to do it. The people in the state want us to do it on both sides of the aisle. It has been voted on in the legislature 5 different times. This is as close to a no-brainer as I could see. We're talking about, you got 2 choices here. You got 19,000 people. Again, God bless them. They're living the American dream. They've succeeded, and we should salute that. We're asking them to pay a little bit more. So you get 19,000 people over here, and you got middle-class property taxpayers over here in the millions. This, to me, is a no-brainer, and I'm going to fight that to the end. I think we're going to, I'm happy to come back to you all, but we're going to shut the press conference down, but we'd love to talk to you offline. I want to thank the mayor, councilwoman, commissioner, Senator Menendez, First Lady, all of you for coming out today. It's always a good day to be in Lavallette. It's always a good day to be on the shore. I wish everybody a happy, safe, and let's keep our veterans and those who have laid their life down for this great country in our prayers. Have a great Memorial Day, everybody. Thank y'all. Thanks, Mayor. Catherine, great job.
Mayor, all right, pleasure. Take care.
Thanks, man.
All right, take care.
Have a good one.
All right,
I assume you're moving around, right? Can you come on this way? Do you mind? Watch your step here. Okay.
Barbara, let me just...
Councilwoman, take care. I need, you got a card? This is the man, this is the guy you now got to, wait, we've got somebody who can he's not the one who didn't answer. My job.